Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you from a kaiju veterinary office. You know, I think it looks more like an abandoned airplane hangar, but, you know, this is a service that is long overdue.
You got to have room. Kaiju aren't small, Joe.
No, I mean, I get that, and it's nice that they're not being overlooked. I mean,
they're the unsung heroes and everything. They just have to, it's like, where does Gamera go when he needs to lick his wounds?
Yeah, they've gone through about 20 dentists on this one so far, and it's not job security is not working.
Not gonna say it. Not gonna say Joe's mom's house.
Hey.
What do you mean by gone through? As you mean they're currently in digestion?
They retired early, let's just put it that way. So anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and a special guest we will introduce momentarily. And I'm not, we're a week away from the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
It's Hype Show Day.
This is Hype Show Day. This is a guest that's intimately involved with the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. I dare say he's probably been to every one of them. So
we're telling stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll be stories, promotion.
We're going to tell the good stories to get people in the door, not the bad stories
that we're going to tell about them next Monday.
Right.
But today won't be only a shameless plug for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention or a call to action. There's some interesting trailers that came out that had nothing to do with a superhero or science fiction movie. Imagine that.
That is true.
One of them was The Fall Guy. I think this looks like a riot. We're going to talk about that. So, and we've got other things we're going to throw in there. But Brandon, I'm going to let you introduce our special guest. So.
Okay, I would like to introduce the new head of MCFC Gaming and current Grind City Movie Madness Debate Combat World Champion, defending at MCFC this year, Geoff Harris. Mr. Intensity, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Geoff, you spell your name Geoff.
Like Chaucer.
Pretty pretentious, man. You don't look like a pretentious guy. That's why it doesn't fit. You look like you'd be a Jeff guy, but this is like the fancy I own a museum type of, I don't know.
He's a Geoff, not a Jeff.
Yeah, you're a Geoff. Yeah.
I think about the fact of how much work Jeff's doing for us, and you're going to insult him right off the gate?
Oh,
I'm used to it.
Hey, make him feel at home.
After a decade of going to the con, you get used to insults.
That is true.
Jeff, you're filling some big shoes, and I mean, were you at the first convention in 2010? I know you were at 2011.
Joe, I thought we don't talk about that convention.
Very good. He was there. Yeah.
For those of you playing at home, that is a yes.
Yeah, the 2010 convention, we I still wake up.
That was
sometimes.
a beta version.
Yeah.
It was a beta version.
I say that's the box that the other convention came out of.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly.
So Jeff, you're taking over. You're filling some big shoes. David and Caitlin Glore. They moved. They were running gaming for us for the last, 5 or 6 years, right, Brent? They do a great job.
They've been doing it for a while, and before we had even decided, we got to start looking for someone, David was the one who told you about it, wasn't it?
We were at Central Barbecue on Summer, no plug. And it just so happens they were in the other room.
Right.
And they saw us, and Dave came around and to say hello, and went, Brandon said that you guys were looking for a gaming head. And he goes, yeah. And I was like, well, could you, pass it down the line for me? And he goes, okay, yeah, sure. Well, timing being timing. Since I was also doing the debate combat thing as well,
right? We
had a small thing set up to do some promotional work. So that's where I got to meet Brandon in person, whom I've known Brandon for many years.
But it's honestly, it's like one of the first times we've seen each other in a couple of years because of how hectic things have been.
Again, as I was talking to Allan before the show, you and I also orbit each other at the cons. So it's kind of one of those, all right, you're sort of a friend-stranger kind of thing going.
Right. It's like, I know you, but we get to see for like about 5 minutes as we pass by, and
I think 5 minutes is that's the key thing.
It really is.
We have the 5 minute conversation. Any given convention, you're going to have the 5 minute conversation.
You have the 5 minute friend. That's a good point. You meet the people, you see them once a year, and you chit chat, and then you move along to
I think it's into like on an elevator you have the 30-second friend.
Right.
And on an airplane you have like the long trip friend.
No. That's the person I never want to see again.
Okay.
But that's usually the person I'm traveling with.
That's most people I know, but that's besides the point.
So, Jeff, I should tell you that we're talking, okay, let's specify. We're talking board gaming. We are going to have a nice board gaming ballroom.
We have a nice little library of games that are being donated to the con. But there's also going to be electronic gaming on the other side of the room.
Right. We have video games. But
So-
you're in charge of our library. Now, this library has been curated and cultivated by, like I said, David and Caitlin for years. They basically, I know nothing about gaming. So I said, how much money do you need? Each year, I would give them a pretty good amount of money. They would buy the best, most interactive games. And now we've got a lot of games to choose from, so people can come in and play, right? I mean,
The idea is that you come in and you put your name and badge number and the game on a piece of paper so we can keep you honest. And then when you're done, you just turn it in like a library book.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it.
We
and,
also-
and don't trash it, or you're buying the game. So yeah,
We also have a system in place that if you want to invite people to play,
right.
we have these little wooden meeples that you can put on the table. It looks like a meeple basically is like a caricature of a person. If you actually see like a walk, don't walk sign, that's
Right.
a meeple.
Yeah.
And I came prepared today because Brandon knows you put me on the show, I'm going to come prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The origin of meeple comes from 2004. I can't remember her name, but there was a lady playing a game of, forgive me if I mispronounce this, it's Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she referred to her pieces as her meeples,
Okay.
which means my people.
You're really giving us a lot of backstory. So this is what happens at a convention.
It's
Be careful
true.
what you ask somebody, because you're going to learn something like that. But
It's so nice to see somebody else that has
This
a way
has
back
reminded me of,
machine. I can be quiet. I can sit here and just enjoy the show.
Yeah,
Just
you
means we
and-
got to get Jeff in here for some more behind the scenes footage.
Absolutely.
However, Jeff, you're all business when it comes to the gaming library,
I'm
right?
all
You are going to
business.
keep a tight. You're going to run a tight ship. Keep the board game library running smooth.
I
right?
consider being part of the convention a privilege and an honor, and it's my duty to go in there and to make sure that your property is respected,
Yeah.
your convention is respected, nobody gets out of hand, nobody gets a little wild hair.
Yep.
The whole point is to have fun.
Absolutely. So
And I wanted, if I can really address that real quick.
you can address it after the break, man.
That sounds great to
Put
me.
a pin in that one. So, all right, we're going to take. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. After tuning into this show, the men in black wipe their own memories. The Geek Patrol is back.
Yeah, I mean, it means they're just going to have to listen to it again next week. I mean, it seems like
I just consider heavy drinking.
Okay.
Hey, so long as they subscribed, I'm good.
Good point. Make sure you subscribe, Men in Black. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And a special guest, Geoff Harris, who is he's actually, he's been with Geek Tank since the beginning. I would call him a super fan. Jeff, you've been listening since we've been on several platforms, several radio stations, and you've been there every step of the way, and we sure appreciate you, sir. So,
Well, again, you guys exemplify what geekdom is all about.
do we?
Wow.
I'd like to think Geekdom's better
I
than
kind of
us,
feel
so.
like I'm holding the weight of the world on my shoulders now, Jeff. Thanks. No pressure.
Okay, as I would tell Atlas, shrug.
Okay. Hey, but Jeff, this year you're now, and so that means you're at every convention. You go to all the
I
conventions
try.
in town.
I have missed a couple of years, COVID and all that.
Right. Well, we don't count that. So,
Right.
But this year you're stepping in to help us and take over board gaming. You're going to be running our board gaming library. You're also going to be participating in one of our featured events, Brandon, which this is, I don't even know what the acronym is for this because it's so long and it's and there's no vowels in it.
Well,
but-
that's the thing is there's no real acronym for it. Grind City Movie Madness is kind of a grassroots film festival fan group thing,
right.
and it's getting its footing, and it will be holding two events at MCFC this year. At 7:00 on Friday, November 10th, there will be the Grind City Movie Madness Trivia Combat, which will be a battle between our friends Danny Chamberlain and Lo Norman.
Danny knows everything. The guy's an encyclopedia. But okay.
Exactly. Which
good luck against
means
him.
that nobody wants to go up against him.
Right.
And then on Saturday, November 11th, before the Piranha Room, we will be having the second Grind City Movie Madness debate combat, which wasn't originally called that the first time around, but Geoff pretty much annihilated his competition, which also included our Grind City commissioner, Wayne Camp.
So you beat everybody, even Danny Chamberlain?
Well, Danny hasn't gone up against him in that.
Oh, so this year, he's sort of like, okay, he's the one to watch, right?
Clash of the Titans.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Yeah, see, now it's funny that Geoff's total demeanor changes when you start talking about that. You turn into the heel for wrestling, right? In this one, no, Mr. Thordarson, I would not refer to me as a heel per se. Laugh while you can. No, but Geoff, you take this very seriously. You're all about defending your title, right?
Grind City Movie Madness debate combat is putting your geek with your mouth is.
Exactly. In front of a crowd. That takes some courage, man.
No, it doesn't take courage at all. It just takes the testicular intensity to go up there and do what you got to do. You lay it down, you lay it out, and you walk away. That's the way you play the game.
Wow.
Now, and this year he's going up against Danny Chamberlain, who will be making a return appearance for debate combat after, his battle the night before for trivia combat, and our own Alyssa Diggs.
Little Allie is gonna be,
as much as you look at her and you're like, oh, Allie, we love her. She's cute. She's tiny. She's petite. If you've ever been to one of her Alyssa Loves Star Wars panels, you also know that she is fierce.
Yeah,
and can get angry.
As I was saying, you guys are putting all your money on Danny. I'm putting my money on myself, but whatever change I have left over, I'll put on Allie.
Yeah,
she's a scrapper. She's mean. She'll get in there. But I really hope, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, she brought enough change to call her parents to come and get her when she's done.
Ooh, okay. So here we go. So
I feel attacked now.
I feel some trash talking going on now.
Usually movie trivia events are like, okay, you answer questions, you sit there politely.
No.
This is a throwdown.
Well, Joe, you're thinking about movie trivia where, or just trivia in general, where you get your group together and you come up with your answer and you're trying to win, like, the free chicken wings at whatever, restaurant you're doing this at.
Right.
Yeah.
This is hardcore. This is extreme. And I'm sorry, but I've seen what Geoff brings to the table. And we call him Mr. Intensity for a reason.
Yeah. You can ramp it up. Your intensity level varies quite a bit, Geoff, I will say.
Oh, no, it's always on an even keel.
Okay.
It's just what your mind is able to perceive.
Okay.
Well, I've won. I can't tell you how many tables worth of free chicken wings at the restaurants.
Right.
Over the years. I don't get up to this table.
No.
I understand that I am a trivia AA player when it comes to this category and the titans of movie knowledge, because basically you're throwing a grizzly bear, a honey badger, and a wolverine in a cage. And you know what? I'll tell you this. It's anybody's win.
Yeah. And maybe it's just about the categories that get chosen, or maybe it's about the right question at the right time, right, Brandon?
Well, it can be, but I mean, when you've got people who are coming at you who are basically titans when it comes to this stuff, they can run rampant across whatever question you give them.
See, that's an interesting thing. You said run. And just recently, Danny went on Facebook and said he's going to bash into the room and rush the stage. These are very bold words for a computer programmer. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't drop dead of a coronary when he got there.
Gosh, okay.
It's getting harsh.
Okay.
I think we're gonna move away from this before.
Right. That's just one event, though. Brandon, the whole weekend, because people, it's hard. This is why it's hard to paint a picture of a convention.
Well, it's
this
true.
is just one activity going on there among hundreds of others.
Right.
It's a riot.
Intensity on trivia.
I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We are bringing back MCFC Underground, which means that if you don't see something on our schedule that you want to be a part of and you want to try and organize it, on Sunday in our Audubon and our Overton room, that is our con spotlight room and our workshop room, those, there will be hour slots available for you to run a panel, or if you just want to get your friends together and basically argue about Pokemon, you can do it in there.
There you go.
I don't know too many other conventions where you have that kind of opportunity. We're turning over our space to you.
Right,
so it's
right.
Pretty,
it's
pretty
like,
neat.
and the thing is that if these are popular enough, then you submit those to me next year. You'll get in as one of our panelists.
You'll be on the schedule.
The thought I wanted to throw in before the break was,
Oh, that's right. We were talking about
really-
gaming.
All right,
no,
we'll put a
this
pin
isn't,
in it because
this
we're
isn't
hitting
really a
another
convention to me.
We're
okay?
at another break.
Oh, we're at another break. So there you go.
Yeah.
break. All right, yeah, live radio, baby. You're
Live
listening
radio.
to Geek Tank Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Count Olaf is a jerk. The Geek Patrol is back.
Okay, at least we can all agree
that's
on
fair
that. There
to-
is no debate. with
That's
that.
fair and to the point.
Yeah.
I'll let
now-
him know that
But-
at Thanksgiving dinner.
But before we get too deep into anything else, Jeff, you had a point you wanted to make.
No. And welcome back. Boy, this is sloppy. We get a week out and everybody forgets the protocols here. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson. Here with my friend Brandon Olmsted, who forgets that new people might be just tuning in and have no clue who we are.
You're eating into the show.
Here with and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and our special guest Geoff Harris, who had a thought before the break, and we had to cut him off because the time waits for no one. Jeff, but now the floor is yours. You were sharing a thought about conventions, I
cut
guess.
you off.
Well,
again.
no, not just conventions. No, Memphis Comics and Fantasy
Okay,
Convention.
all right.
To me, it's more than just a con. It's you, Joe, bringing us the geek experience.
No, it's our
In a
whole
box.
team. Come on, and it's our attendees.
But you are the.
I'm a small role in this. so.
It would not exist without you, sir.
Okay, I write the checks. That's true. So, yeah.
So by
But
extension,
no, I mean you don't have to suck up, Jeff. But I appreciate it. So, but
well, my fellow teammates, who I look forward to working with. Again, we're going to be bringing you gaming, music, excitement. November 10, 11, and 12 next week. Be there. Don't forget. Come to watch me just dominate.
So that is 6 o'clock on Saturday night.
Saturday
Actually, it's a
night.
two-part. No, it's Friday and Saturday, right?
No, it's going to be 6 o'clock. Then 6:05, they're going to be bringing Danny and Allie out on a stretcher.
Wow. The trash talk is great.
Okay.
I-
All right.
you know,
So,
This
for
is like
movie
the
fights.
well, Grind City, Movie Madness, Debate Combat.
Yeah.
It's stronger than movie fights.
It's okay. But there's something to be said too. You take this very serious. You've got a really nice looking belt. It's like kind of what wrestlers would wear, and this is a custom belt you had commissioned, right, Brandon? And,
I designed it.
describe this because
Okay.
it's engraved in metal. I mean, it is nice.
it's 2.5 pounds of zinc.
What's the leather? I mean, what's the Latin quote on there? That's what I was curious about.
Scientia. I can't pronounce it, but it basically translates to useless knowledge is still knowledge.
There you go. That's what keeps us on the air, actually. So, all right. So you'll be the defending champion for that this year at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. You can get your tickets. We should tell people that. You can get your tickets. Go. There's two ways. Go to memphiscfc.com because then you can look around and get information about the convention. And if you go to the tickets page, it'll take you to a link to 901 Tix, and that's spelled Tix. I haven't been spelling it because I wonder if people are going to TICKSs. I don't know.
I didn't know if anybody was going directly there and searching for us anyway. I figured they were all going through the website. Why aren't you going through the website?
Well, I recommend the website because you get all the information there. And I
agree.
should say, I just want to say this. There was a little glitch on that page that's been rectified. So if you went there before and you were having a few challenges buying your tickets, it's been fixed. So
well, that's
okay.
good.
Yeah.
I've fielded a few questions when it came to folks asking about the tickets. And one of the things that, one of the biggest confusion amongst people was the fact that it talked about 3 different events.
Right.
And I had to
we got
explain
that figured out. Yeah.
I was having to explain that meant 3 days, a ticket for each day.
Right. That's over with. Now,
Right.
now it's just one. Okay. Anyway, but Brandon,
Yeah.
we're excited about being in a new location. The
are.
University of Memphis Holiday Inn is really it's a great location. Tons of parking. It's a big space. And we're right there on the campus, so we're offering 25% discounts for all students. All you got to do is show up with your University of Memphis student ID, and you get 25% off your ticket.
It's
Boom.
true. And what's really great about it is, We actually had our second year here at the University of Memphis Holiday Inn, but we have, I won't say perfected because we're still learning, but we have grown in how we utilize our space.
Right.
So we're gonna have all this space, and we're gonna be at least still seem 3 times bigger than what we were that year we were there.
Well, Allan, you were there. I would say the first year we don't talk about, 2010. In year 2000, in the second year, you learn a lot. And I've heard it said that most conventions, it takes till your third year before you really get on your feet. And that's totally true with us. By our third year, we were in great shape. We had Tom Kenny. We had large attendance. But the second year is where I would say it's almost a safer, like you're playing it a little safer, and it was definitely improved over the 2010, but you were a part of that too,
what I'm going to say about your first year
Yeah.
is that you have a lot of ideas from being at other conventions.
Right. And it looks easier than it really is to put together.
That's true.
Yeah.
Then you have your first year and you discover why all the other conventions don't do all of these ideas that you've had, or don't deal with. And in this particular case, I'm going to call out different facilities because, I can't understand why we don't use this or we don't do that or we don't go over here, we don't go over there. That first year, you find out why. Yeah. You're kind of like, no, we are never doing this again.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's all about the fit.
Right.
By that third year, you've kind of shaken out some people. You've raised a few expectations, you've lowered a few others, and now you stop being a boat of parts and you start becoming a ship.
You start,
it starts chugging along, and the engine's kind of purring, and the response is getting a little better, and it's kind of its own animal, and it really wants to move forward.
Right. Well,
and it takes about 3 years to get the people, the con, and the fans all in the same boat.
So now, 13 years later, we've
still
learned
here.
a lot, and we're more of an institution now. It's not,
Right.
a lot of things are expected.
I'm going to say, and with every convention that I've been a part of in the early years, there's always a turning point when you basically right that ship. Mm-hmm. The pivot came, Joe, and this is not a criticism. The pivot came when you learned that it's okay to delegate and not try and do everything yourself.
Well, here we go. It was out of ignorance that I did that.
Joe is an amazingly hard worker. His ethic, I've never seen a work ethic like Joe's.
Okay.
And he takes on more than he should. Mm-hmm. So getting a good crew around you is also
Well, that's easier said than done.
Well,
now that you say that, that's true, though. It is hard to do that. So, we're learning a little bit about the evolution of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. We'll continue the conversation when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. That guy in the slime tub from Dune really needs to get a sense of humor. The Geek Patrol is back.
Yeah, nothing makes that guy happy. The guy could be winning empires and everything. He's just a jerk. Anyway, welcome back to...
They need to dose his slime.
No kidding.
Here's a brief aside, just for the fun of it. Lego's actually coming up with a Lego set of Dune, and it's including Baron Harkonnen as a minifigure.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty exciting.
I hope they don't bring the slime. So
They don't.
Anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and our special guest, Geoff Harris, who wears many hats. He's
and a belt.
And a belt. He is the defending champion of Grind City Movie Madness Debate Combat World. Whatever. I gave up. There's too many words in there. He's the champion right now about movie trivia that's going to be taking place. The battle will happen at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. And believe it or not, it is way more entertaining than maybe we're even making it sound. It's like wrestling and trivia combined.
It's more than just trivia. It's taking the trivia and applying it.
Yeah. So, and also we've been talking, so just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention is next week, November 10th through 12th. So the next time you hear from us, it'll be either at the convention or recovering from the convention, whatever it'll be. If you're totally new to conventions, we're giving a little behind the scenes of what it takes to start one and what the lessons we've learned. But I also want to say, if you're looking at the weekend plans and you're like, oh gosh, I can't make it all 3 days, definitely come on Saturday. Saturday is the best day to come. Friday is second. Sunday is a half day. Don't show up on Sunday and think that it's going to go until midnight. We close up about 3:30.
The thing you can't deny, though, on Sundays is that is one of our marquee events.
Right.
That's the day that you can do Let's Make a Deal daycare style.
And you don't want to miss that.
You buy raffle tickets, the amazing Mr. Robert, Tadpole, and Squirt will be giving away upwards of $10,000 worth of prizes.
Right. And like we said, at any given time, the one thing that's important is check the schedule, which has already been posted, and plan your day a little bit, because at any given moment there are probably 30 or 40 different, areas of activity. There's different things going on, and you don't want to miss them. So it's like and plan to eat too. Sometimes people forget to do that. But before the break, we were talking a little bit about the history of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. You guys always call me out on this, and you said that back in the day when we first started the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, you said, you know what, you're not very good at delegating. You do everything yourself, which I reject that claim, Brandon, because that's not what it is. I told out the first year is a perfect example. What happened was which we don't talk about the first year. The first year was a train wreck.
Yes, we do.
We talk about it a lot.
I had a list of I felt like I was organized. I had a list of items in my ignorance. I said, okay, I got about 10 things I got to do when we get there to set up. Right. What I didn't know was that I actually had about 80 things that I didn't plan for, and since I didn't delegate them or give them everybody was coming to me to fix it, and so it was mostly just out of ignorance. I didn't realize all the things involved.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. It could have literally only been the 10 things you had on your list, but you didn't factor one thing in, and it's because you're self-employed.
Right.
I'm going to put it. You did not put in the human factor, because the human factor basically says if anybody in this world can screw you up, they will be in front of you as soon as you think you're organized.
People will be late. Things will not arrive. Exactly.
Everybody will get ticketed because somebody forgot to tell parking that we were unloading. You know?
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I want to jump in on that. It's about the two Billies. Okay. Responsibility and accountability. The two
point.
Billies.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the man in charge. It falls on you.
No, exactly. So, and Allan.
Well, the biggest thing here is, ladies and gentlemen, we are giving you a master class right now in how to start your business.
Yep.
You can be the world's finest chef or carpenter or Brandon, you're excellent at security, observation, all these things. But the skill that makes you so great at what you're doing is secondary to all the administrative abilities that you suddenly discover that you need.
That's a good point.
When you look at opening a convention or running, even a simple little festival or a little fair just for your little organization.
Or an art gallery.
Or my gosh, yes. I can be so totally called out on that one. So welcome to the factor. And the number one factor is, I'm totally going to agree, it is that human factor.
Yeah.
And emotions and the fact that people take this stuff very seriously, seriously. And it's whatever but hey, that's long behind us,
Well, it's part of the learning and growth process. And Joe, all right, well, you get to get called out for not delegating. You also get mad props for learning.
I try not to make the same mistakes over and over.
Okay, who's in charge of that? All right, you know what? My sister's in charge of that. You know who's in charge of that? Brandon's in charge of that.
Yeah.
You know who's in charge of that? Allie's in charge of that. And you know what?
I think,
call me if you have a problem with one of them.
I think Joe still believes that his greatest idea ever was to go, you know what? I'm just going to go back and doing logistics and paying for everything. Brandon, you're the chairman now.
There you go.
Wow.
You can be the face.
I aged 14 years over the course of 2.
Although I still love what all of y'all do with me.
Yeah.
Go talk to Allan.
Is the problem settled, or do I have to go get the Allan?
Right. You're the threatening factor. Well, hey, look, folks.
And Geoff, you've done it too.
Yeah.
What
But
are you talking about?
it is a lot of fun, and like we said, I mean,
No.
the there's too much to mention as far as what we're doing, but we definitely want you to show up on Saturday night too for the Piranha Room.
Piranha Room
that's
is-
going to be big this year. I
That's
have more
classic.
space.
Yeah.
I've gone through the whole playlist. It's awesome. Max edited the playlist for me. I'm going to give him a heads up
Well,
on that.
that's
So
because Max is awesome.
Max has
You know,
grown to
our
love
Max,
80s
not
and
the
90s
streaming service.
Yeah, 80s and 90s goth
I got to
music.
keep with the gimmick.
There's a lot happening, and it's a lot of fun. It's activities for all ages, but I would say if you've got kids, we are one of the most family-friendly conventions and also affordable. That is what we're all about. We want you to bring your family. It's definitely easy to to get in.
I
So-
got to ask, Max, you actually going to make it out this year, or are they going to have you working?
I probably have other plans that day.
Yeah, thanks, Mac. Thanks for being a team player here. So he'll show up. He always does, but he doesn't. I don't know what he thinks. Does he think people are going to recognize him? You're never on camera. Nobody knows what you look like.
And we already all know anyway. And we will throw you under the bus for 30 cents.
Anyway, go to memphiscfc.com to learn more. Join our Facebook page and get your tickets there, 901 Ticks as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the new Fall Guy trailer.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Even a pair of vibranium diapers couldn't hold back the produced on this show. The Geek Patrol is back.
I feel attacked.
Oh, that's nothing. It couldn't even deal with what happens off the air. So. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth, and the tasteless Max, bringing us such a awful rejoinder like that. I mean,
Why do I
no
get the feeling
class.
that Max didn't write that one?
And our buddy Geoff Harris defending. He wears a lot of hats. He's going to be running gaming this year, and he's the defending champion in movie trivia.
No. Debate combat.
Debate combat.
Okay, whatever. He has to make it sound more
Don't
edgy.
say whatever.
Hey,
He's going to put you
No,
through a
no,
table.
no, no. The challenge is coming. You come into the ring with me, you will learn what debate combat is.
Okay,
And
all
they'll
right.
have to wear vibranium diapers after combating with him.
Okay.
Oh, you may have to.
Anyway, we're going to move along from this because it's easy to trigger Geoff on this. Let's talk about a trailer that came out, and boy, was it refreshing. It wasn't a superhero movie. It wasn't a
No.
Star Wars
Thank
TV
goodness.
show. It was a movie that just looked like a fun action movie called The Fall Guy. Brandon, I didn't realize it was based on the, what was it, the 1970s or 80s
It's
show?
the 1980s Lee Major.
Yeah, Lee
you know,
Majors. Yeah.
Well, this
Yeah.
looks cool. This looks like a lot of fun, and it's going to be PG-13 because it's made by the same director that made Bullet Train. That was a pretty fun movie, but very
Liked it.
violent with Brad Pitt and a lot of other people. But David Levitch, let's give him hats off. But
David
so,
Leitch.
Leach.
Leech.
Oh, Leach.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Leitch.
But
There's no V in there, bub.
Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, they have a cool chemistry. Everybody does anybody not like Ryan Gosling? He just seems like one of those. He's one of those
had
guys
some
that people
awkward
like.
roles.
I can't think that I've ever had any kind of disdain for any role he's done.
No, he's cool, and he's one of those wide-ranging guys.
You
Like,
know,
Yeah.
he can play your rom-com lead. He can
Yeah.
play
Right.
your dramatic, emo guy. He can play Ken,
yeah.
and he did.
Well, yeah.
And Emily Blunt's the same type of. She's just as wide range. She did a
She-
great job as Mary Poppins. I'll have to
She
say,
always
but,
has.
yeah.
She always brings even in her most comedic roles. She brings this little touch of class to it.
Right.
That kind of reminds you of the actresses of old, like
She has a fresh energy, if that makes sense. She when she comes in, you're like, is she going to have an accent? Is she going to speak? What's her role? Is she going to be the villain? I don't know. So
And I
they're
love the
both
fact
cool
that she's the
characters.
director in this.
Yeah, this looks fun. So as far as I can tell, it's just a basic. It's a combination though, right? Well, like
Right.
the rom-com, spy intrigue,
Yeah,
action.
it's-
You get the behind the scenes
Well,
of how movies are made, I guess.
And that's the thing about the Fall Guy in general is it was always just a mix of everything. You didn't know what you were necessarily getting, by the week. Was it going to be him on the set? Was it going to be him doing the bounty hunter thing? Him doing an investigation? You never knew. And it looks like they've rolled a lot of that into this because he's been brought on as Aaron Taylor Johnson's stunt double. Most people don't like him because of their past with him. But
they don't
then-
like the stunt double.
Well, no, yeah, they don't like Colt. Colt Seavers, who is
Ryan Gosling. Okay.
Ryan Gosling plays that in the movie. That's Lee Major's role in the original TV series. He's beat up. People don't like him. He's very egotistical, but
he's a bit acerbic.
Right.
Yeah.
He does, and he says what's on his mind. It sounds like so. Yeah.
And the problem is that Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's playing Tom Ryder. Tom goes missing. And
they say he's the biggest star in movies at that.
Right.
So. I like that guy, Aaron Taylor Johnson. That guy's cool.
So,
he played.
The first movie I remember seeing him in was Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I liked him in that, and then he is my preferred Quicksilver of the two actors who played Quicksilver.
Yep.
But he's my favorite thing about Bullet Train.
Yeah, he's cool. And at first, I didn't recognize him. Like, oh wait, that's the dude that's Quicksilver because he had a mustache. He looked different, but he's got a real certain presence. I just like the dude, and he's going to be Kraven the Hunter.
He's going to be Kraven the Hunter too.
He's a cool actor though. So, but it looks like a lot of fun, and we need this, man. We don't. I mean, as much as we love superheroes and science fiction, it's just saturated. We need something new.
This is just something different in the midst of everything, but it has all the explosions you need for a nice blockbuster.
Well, it's a popcorn movie
with some depth.
Exactly.
Though. I think there's gonna be some depth in this.
I will definitely choke on some kernels here.
No, I mean there is a serious spot. I'm gonna look at Jeff and go, I agree completely. You need a snack bar movie. You need the popcorn movie every so often.
That's the cleanser.
It's not going to be deep. You're not going to have to solve the mysteries of the universe. The world is not going to end. The life itself is not in the balance.
You know
but
what,
it's
though?
a lot of fun.
I bet
but
you're
going to care about the characters.
I was about to say, I bet you'll care about the characters, and I bet there'll be some touching moments because that it seems like that's what their Bullet Train had. That
Absolutely. And I'll say this about the trailer: I only have one criticism about the trailer. Is it got, You Give Love a Bad Name stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
It did. And I will say there is a Lee Majors cameo or two in this.
Okay, because I missed that.
I hope he plays Ryan Gosling's dad.
I don't know. I just know he's in it. I just know he's there.
How old is Lee Majors now? Holy smokes, man.
He's well in his 80s.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun.
He's Allan's junior.
Okay. Hey, one more reminder. Get your tickets for next week. The Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention coming up November 10th through 12th at the University of Memphis Holiday Inn. Anyway, we're out of time, you guys. We got to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Mr. Intensity, Geoff Harris.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, reminding you to come on out to the con and meet your 5-minute friend.
You didn't sound very intense.